Good day, viewers. You're welcome to Let's Discuss on OSBC TV. Today's edition also promises to be exciting and revealing. On the program today, we shall be examining youth delinquency. The problem of youth delinquency in the country has continued to pose a great challenge needed to be surmounted by government at all levels, and the institutions are not left behind. The institutions such as the police, the faith communities, the educators, political and social organizations have roles to play in order to reshape the conduct of some youths that are found culpable in some sharp practices. My name is Adibare Ejimakide. Welcome you on board on the program, and we have a guest in the studio that will be introduced by Oluchi.
Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us once again on today's edition of Let's Discuss. And as Adibare Ejimakide rightly put it, we are going straight to look at what is actually happening in the country, what is happening to those that are considered to be the leaders of tomorrow. What does the future holds for Nigeria at large with the crop of youth that we have these days? Yes, our guest is someone who is eminently qualified to lead us in the discussion of the topic youth delinquency. She was a former commissioner for information in Osun State here and a one-time director general of National Orientation Agency. When I say she is eminently qualified, trust me, she is. Evangelist Remi Wilson, you're welcome to
the program.
Thank you so much.
So nice having you today on the program.
Nice being here too.
So when we talk about youth delinquency, what exactly do you mean?
Well, I think there's a need for us to understand two things when you're talking about youth. We have the inborn instinct in everyone. The inborn instinct in us will definitely reflect when you come to the age of being a youth. There's nothing you can do about it. The instinct will drag us to want to behave like a youth, then you want to prove yourself as being getting matured in terms of attitude, in terms of relationship with others, and in terms of behavior in the society, which is instinct, which is inborn. The second one is the society where you grow will reflect the type of youth you will be. So in terms of age, people are classified as youth from age 17, 18, in the 70s, 80s, but these days, a child of 13 is mature to be a youth because they will have an early stage in life and they will start to attain things about their age. So to say youths, it depends on the society you're talking about and the group of people, but ordinarily, youth starts from the age of 17, 18 to age of 40.
Okay, looking at the youth delinquencies in the country, what will you say have been the challenges facing this category of the people?
To me, I think it has to do with the social environment. What are the things that our children are exposed to? Where are they growing? It has religious aspect. What type of religion are you practicing? And what are the knowledge you are imparting on the youths? By the parents, by the society. Also, we have the environmental influence. What are the things that your community, what are the things they are exposed to? What are the functions of the people in that community will definitely dictate the type of child and attitude of the youths.
Okay, now let me ask this. Our environment still remains our environment.
Yes.
The places people grew up in the 60s, 70s, 80s are still there. There might have been changes, but what actually went wrong? Why are we having a lot of negativity from the youth these days?
To me, I think it's more of the influence of the parents. In the good days of the 60s, the 70s you're talking about, most of us attended boarding house where the children are kept in school. And we have the opportunity of mixing with our peer groups. But this time around, children are kept at home more than in the school environment. Then we are exposed to lessons, developmental things that has to do with the youth. The teachers have enough time to teach us. We have enough time to read, and we are well monitored. The first mistake we made in this nation is to almost cancel every boarding house, especially for students of secondary school age. That is the age when you'll be growing to maturity as a youth. Unfortunately, we keep our children at home. Then what are the relationship of the parents with those children? What type of message are you sending these children? If a child will leave the home as early as 6 a.m. and will not come back to the house until around 5 or 6, you don't know what exactly the child is doing in school. You don't know the type of people the child is mixing up with. So definitely, this has a lot of influence on the type of life and attitude of these children. We all have to be careful the way we do things and prayerful. Yes, the religion is there. When children are growing in an environment where the mother will be at the backyard and tell her, after hearing the sound of somebody outside, I'm not a rat. What moral are we teaching such a child? A situation where father will send our children to go and buy cigarette, what lesson are we impacting on such children? The parents have their roles, and the bad influence and the positive ones. A lot of these things that we count against these children are actually what we teach them to be. Yes, we call them leaders of tomorrow. Whereas, at what age do we start to lead? I remember that I was just 30 plus when I became the LGA secretary in Osun State. Yeah? Whereas a child of 50 will still be counting himself or herself as a youth. We have refused to let the children identify themselves with their peer groups in terms of relationship, in terms of progress making. Even if a parent would go as low as paying for a child to have the first school certificate results and the WAEC or NECO, taking them to special schools, then what leadership role are we teaching these children? I want to believe that if the parents and the society, I think the society will try to readdress the way we relate and what we expose to these children, it will be better for us. Then there's this attitude too. You discover that a lot of children that want to attain high level in the society are always being frustrated, especially when you want to live an independent life, to study and become something in life. You have a lot of destructive criticism by the peer groups and even by neighbors and friends, until we wake up to the realistic fact that each person has his or her own destiny to attain. Then in Nigeria, it's a shame that instead of us teaching our children to achieve in life, what we teach them most is how to take from left, right, center. We have refused to teach them to be independent, and creativity is no more in us. I remember I started learning how to sew, how to cook, how to bake when I was in primary school. That's primary 4, primary 5, primary 6, primary 7 in Ofa, St. Mark's Primary School. I started baking in the primary school. I wonder if there's anything like that center. Mama Miriam Babangida tried to reintroduce that aspect. That's why we have these women development centers. But instead of us to tap to it, we abused it all. So we have refused to imbibe the spirit of creativity that will make us independent. Rather, what we do is just garnering things from people. Technical colleges are meant for people that may not be interested in reading much, but that they can use their hand. Unfortunately, these days, you just discover that nobody is in the technical schools again. I remember Baba Akonde, when he was the governor of the state, he tried to reactivate all the technical colleges. I have the privilege to supply all the items at the Jebujisha Technical College. After the whole man established all this, there are no pupils, no students to utilize the equipment. So, if you are not creative, then what are we talking about? If you remember in the early 90s, late 80s to early 90s, we used to have some wristwatches that are made with plastic. They are mere practical handwork of the children in China. That's when they come and sell for us 200 naira there, was money. With different colors. So the children in China are ready to work and their brains are well tapped. But in Nigeria here, we don't see the need for us to equip our children to be active and productive.
Okay, would you now say that the emphasis we lay on certificate education could actually be a contributory factor?
Certificate is good. Education is essential.
Okay.
But how do we acquire the certificate? By fraudulent means. Paying our ways out. Lecturers sleeping with the ladies. And the men paying off for their certificate. Is that what you call certificate? I'm saying that it's good that we educate. At the same time, those that cannot have enough time or that are not blessed to have the knowledge of being able to read and memorize some of these things, they should be taught the practical way to create things. Then I'm scared of the way we are educating our youths in this nation. You can imagine, we have the police, we have the road safety, we have the civil defense. All these are not essential. Now we have the Amotekun again. We should train these children to be occupied with something productive. Increasing security is not what we need in this nation. But enabling environment for them to be creative, to be productive, and to create things that will make us happy. How can we be buying toothpaste from China up to now? Dangote is producing, now they are jealous of the Dangote. They will pass abusive words, criticizing that yes, it's the money of the government is using. You to bring your brain to create something for the nation.
All right, ma'am. You make mention concerning the boarding school. You advocated for that. Some parents send their words to boarding schools and they have different stories to tell.
My dear, let me tell you
so
something.
what can be the influence of peer group? How does peer group influence affect youth positively or negatively?
Let me say something before that. When you allow your children to be in boarding school, there will be no need for you to wake up early in the morning to take them to that school. The period you spend fuel to take them to school, the time you don't go back to your own work until after dropping and making sure the children are well seated. You have the stress to go back and pick them again. So we are wasting much money on fueling. We are wasting much time, wasting the time of the children and ourselves. Some will be late to school, and even if they are not late to school, the parents will be late to work. So what are we talking about? They are talking about fuel. Do you remember that when the fuel started going up, the number of vehicles on the street reduced drastically? You just see people flying around. Instead of us wasting all these funds, we can think better, pay for the school fees, pay for the for the boarding house. Even if children are kept in the boarding house or in your house, they will still have the influence of the youth. All you need to do is monitor them, pray for them, counsel them, and you live a life that will make these children see themselves as well-behaved, well-brought-up children. So it is important that as parents, we have our roles. the community. There's an Yoruba hadith that says, "Ojumeji lo nbimo, igba oju lo nwo." These days, even when a child is walking naked and is your neighbor, you just look away because the parent may not be happy you're correcting. But me, I'll correct. Let them come abuse me. Until we go back to that attitude of being our brother's keeper. These youths, it's not their fault. Like I said at my introductory aspect, that we have the inborn instinct. It's natural. It's a rebellious stage. There's nothing, if you read psychology, there's nothing you can do about it. Even the priest, everybody that passed the age of 18, 19, 20, 21, those years are rebellious years.
So what roles does religious institutions have to play in reshaping the conduct?
I think it's better for us to go back to the idea of preaching salvation, encouraging productivity, and keeping the society be well informed. The church, the mosque, should be able to inform their community on things that are happening at the governmental level. Because that's where we used to know a lot of things about government in others. But I think it's been the role of religious leaders, the church, and everyone that has to do with religion to impact the fear of God, and most importantly, to teach morals and educate the followers on the need to be upright, to be productive, and have respect for the community. But these days, what they preach is, come to our church, you'll be able to travel out. Come to our church, you'll be able to make a lot of money. Yes, that business you have on you, by this time tomorrow, you become a billionaire. We have refused to teach on how to work. We have refused to address on how to make things happen in our society. Rather, we encourage the youths to think that all you need is just kneel and pray and money will start to flow in. We have not been objective in our training of the youths. So the church, the mosque have a lot to do to let us know what exactly we need to do. Because even Jesus Christ himself, he was not a lazy person. When he came and he had the power, he was moving from one place to the other to preach. Muhammad himself gathered his people and trained them. So why should anybody just stand up and say, let me pray for you? Yes, it's good to pray. It's good to have faith, but faith without work. I think I like Paul for that. And Peter, they will encourage you to be more productive. So they have a lot of roles to play.
Okay. Now let's look at the role of mentors, role models. Because in those days, youth will always say, yes, I want to be like this person. You have someone to look up to. Now, but these days, the people that are there, that they are looking up to, are also into these sharp businesses. People that will just flaunt their wealth on the social media and tell you a small girl with big God, or a small boy with big God, you know, just doing one business and you're into billions, quick money. How did the society degenerate into this stage?
Well, I still believe that we all have our faults. Because when you watch African Magic, all these dramas, most of them are based on quick money. Then the dressings, they will go half naked in the name of displaying play. They will tell you if you go to an herbalist, you can make it. So impacting such knowledge through social medias, through television series, is actually killing the society. Then what exactly do we achieve by engaging the youths in illicit affairs? For instance, there's a particular man. You just see him, you see the youth around him, he said they are traveling. It took me some time to now say that, these are not his relations. They have nothing to do with him. But 3, 4 of them will travel out. What are they going to do? Out of curiosity, I called him and I asked him, I'm sure you're not using these people for good business. Are they carrying things for you? That was the last time he came to my house. We are all into politics. But I started smelling. We just see them bouncing in his car. Most of us are guilty of some of the things that happen in the society. Mentorship is acquired. Mentorship is discovered. Mentorship is not what you advertise for people to know. And unfortunately, most of the people you think are well placed in society, they have been part of a lot of problems we have in society. For instance, go to the East. Most of the people they now call leaders, elders, are those that were militant before. After attaining some age in life, and after achieving some things in life, they will become mentor. When they are old aged, they will become chief, and they will be using the youth for the illicit act they have been doing before. Some of these elders that we now call elder statesmen started all this cultism in our schools. And today they are the people we think we are promoting as mentors. They started all this cultism, and the cultism is still in existence. The cultism they introduced these people to, they claim, yes, they were using it to scare some people and to defend themselves. After which is now degenerating. So what are we talking about? So when you're talking about mentor, until we start to classify and be sincere about what you mean as mentor. For instance, I read some stories, I just smile, about what happened between Baba Awolowo and Azikwe. Then there was nothing like, what is it called? Telephone, no handset to communicate. Azikwe and Awolowo had an agreement. Azikwe went to the north to go and deliver what they wanted to deliver. By the time he came back, before he came back, Mama Kuti already said there is a lot of things. What's it going on? How much is the money? Then he blackmailed Azikwe. So when Azikwe came back, he just turned around. Nobody is remembering what the woman did that poisoned the mind of Azikwe again. They said, oh, he betrayed Awolowo. Yes. Somebody caused it. Until we are sincere with history. We are never sincere with history in this nation. We just pick the ones that favor us. If Mama did not make that pronouncement, yes, she was an activist. But when you had spoken too much, you cause problem for the society. There should be limit to what you do. Instead of her to keep quiet and let the person come back. He said, we have been betrayed. So the man said, okay. And the man made that. Babazik also made a mistake. Okay. He said, I betray you. He now went ahead and do what he wanted. He did not intentionally want to do. But history will never tell you that. It's when you go deep into it that you know the facts. So there's a need for us when they're talking, you just listen most of the time. You just read. But the facts are always been hidden.
Okay, let's look at the characteristics of delinquent youth. How can such misconduct or misbehavior be detected at early stage?
Yes. When you call a child, and that child is sitting very close to you, refuse to answer, then you discover that he may grow stubborn. With that, as a teacher, all you do is call the person. Let the boy or girl realize that it's not a good attitude when you hear something and you are not reacting. It will affect your hearing, it will affect your mind, and before you know it, you lose contact with people. When you send a child on an error, be objective about what you're sending or requesting for. When you're in the house, don't tell that child, no, you don't do that. Then for our fathers, and even the mothers, stop sending them cigarette, beer. You are introducing them to such things. Because later they want to have a taste of that you're taking.
To emulate.
To emulate. Then it is important also to observe who exactly are the friends of our children. Who are they working with? What are their attitude? You don't drive away their friends, or else they will go at your back and do worse things. All you need to do is be their friend, be your children's friend. The friend of your children, be their friend too. And be close to the parents. If there's anything you need to correct within the two parents, it doesn't cost you anything to technically address it. Don't drive away people from them. Don't criticize people destructively. You only one. Then as much as possible, these are children, when you love them, they know. When you are hostile to them, they easily know, they'll get scared of you. If you are doing anything wrong, it's not all the time you care. You talk. And at times when you keep quiet for a child, it's more than a sword. When they expect you to react and you just look away, looks a little bit serious, before you know it, they will be prostrated because they know they have done something wrong. We need to be careful, we need to be friendly, and we need to see ourselves as having passed that stage ourselves. Nobody's perfect. We have our mistakes too. And if the Lord assists us to get over the mistakes, we should guide our own children too to get over such mistakes.
Thank you very much, Ma. Now let's look at youth that live a double life. Now, once they are at home,
they are gentle.
They are so gentle. They will go to the churches, they go to the mosque, and they obey their parents totally. And once they go to the campus, they turn to different things. Excuse me. Once they get to the campus, they turn to different things entirely. And even sometimes when issues now started coming and it involves the police and all the rest, the parents will be vouching for their kids. That no, my child can never do this.
Yes, there was an incident in Lautech, Mosho. A boy died. His corpse was brought to his parents. And they came with 4 cars, a lot of properties.
The students.
Yes. That is about 3 or 4 years ago. A lot of properties. While they were dumping these things at the presence of the parents said, what? How come you, who is the owner of all these things for your son? These are his cars. This boy will naturally come home to collect the normal 25,000 naira at the end of the month.
Without bringing any car.
In such a situation, double attitude, being a different person in society, they discovered that later that he was into Yahoo. That was why he died. There are ways you can monitor the children. For instance, when they are at home, just watch the way they relate. What the type of film they like watching. If they go to church, ask them some questions. Then you don't have to let it be only when they come to you. You take your time, give them surprise visits. When they least expect it, okay, I'm just passing through to Ilorin and I thought I should say hello to you. We should know the house your children are living, if they are living outside the campus. We should know where they are staying. Me, when my children were in school, I'll just glance into them. I won't tell them when I'm coming. Get into their school, I will see the room and be sure that these are the things I give. And those are the boarding house. When you go to the hostel and have an opportunity to enter their rooms, please do. You will find out the type of life others are living in that same environment. The most important thing is that spiritually you have to be prayerful. Tell them when to pray. Every day, you just have to communicate with your child, no matter the age. Me, every day I'll make sure, if it's a text message or a call, I'll put across to all my children and their spouses. At least every day, once. So when you start to monitor them, they will be conscious of what they're doing. But the moment you leave them, and it's only when you have time or you are in need of something, you call PM. All the same, I think it's just God that can help direct. All we need to do is to make efforts.
Okay, what are the consequences of youth delinquencies in the society? How does it affect the society?
It affects the society in terms of underdevelopment. Underdevelopment in the sense that when our own youth here are most of the time into tricycles, korope, okada,
Okay.
just to make quick money. People in China are productive. They are using their creativity to create things that is of benefit to the society. We in Nigeria, we have the opportunity to be good in terms of agriculture. Go to the north. Go to Nasarawa. They are into agric, full-time, beans, mango, all these things. But especially those of us in the southwest here, we are a little bit arrogant. We don't believe in working. We believe in making money by any means. Instead of us to work and find means of making money that will make the society be a better place for us all we want is quick money. Then, education is essential. Like I said, the technical education, the technical colleges, let's encourage them. Then it's a shame that most polytechnics and technical colleges, you discover that most of them, instead of them to teach practical things that will make them establish some things, all they do is, I wonder what they are doing with other subjects that is not related to technology. So there is a need for us to be objective and address most of these polytechnics, technical colleges to be creative. Not just going there to go and learn business and come on. What are the universities doing? That must be in the polytechnics. That will be accounting.
Thank you very much, ma'am. A lot of youth in Nigeria are doing positive things and making the country proud.
Exactly.
And they still keep complaining that the environment is not favorable. That you work and work and work and you're meeting a lot of government restrictions that is not allowing you to actually succeed in what you do. And a lot of them started going out, the Japa syndrome. Now what can government do? What should government be doing to encourage the youth? Some of them that are entrepreneurs, they go through a lot of troubles, challenges, getting their companies registered and all that. What should government be doing?
Well, I think there are a number of things the government need to. As government, creating enabling environment in the sense of electricity supply. If the electricity are well supplied and there is no problem in terms of producing things, then the consumption of such items, there should be environment for the sales of such. If we produce and nobody is consuming, then it's a waste. Then we should reduce the emphasis on security. We should rather increase the way the youths are being placed in the society. Security is good, but the best security is to get these children doing something that will divert their hearts from anything evil. Then the Japa syndrome you're talking about. Most of them, when they are in Nigeria, they are very lazy. They let them get out of the country. They work like hell. For instance, the refuse, they cannot collect here in Nigeria, they do it abroad. Most of them will go there to do a lot of things that they cannot do here in Nigeria. And when they come back home, they buga. So there is the need for us to place our priorities. It's quite unfortunate. Watch television when footballs are being played. Watch when wrestling is there. You see most of them that are here, that are there, 99% of them are white. Whereas our own people that Japa are there at home working for them. That's a problem. Our own youths are there to work for them instead of working for us in this country. Some are very lucky. When they are out, they have a good job. So I'm not saying all of them are into that, but I think about 70% of our people that are abroad are not doing things that is expected of them. That's their job. So until we start to realize and appreciate our own society here, until we start to realize and appreciate the fact that we can produce things that will make our society a better place to dwell in, until we change our attitude to our children, because even some children, when they are ready to work, we frustrate them. I remember when they started this refuse collection during Narebe Shola's regime, a lot of youth were into it. But the way our people relate with them, ridiculously. You see some people, it's not fair. That discouraged a lot of youths to get out of the business. That's why I now have refuse around. So there's a need for us as a society to change our attitude to people working, to people, to the youth when they want to work, and appreciate them. Appreciating them will encourage them to do more and be more productive.
All right, thank you very much. Political influence seems to be manifesting or reflecting the behavior of some youths. What effect has this one brought to the society and possible solutions?
Well, when I was a youth, I joined politics with Babaji as well. That was in the 76, 77 thereabouts. Then all we do is follow the leaders, listen to them. We are no noisemakers. Then we have those of us that are into politics, and then we have followers. These followers will respect you if you are doing the right thing. These followers will do things that will make you happy. Because as leaders, if you are not arrogant, if you are doing things that will elevate the society, you'll be appreciated. But this time around, most of the youths, what they want is money. And when they are being paid off, then it becomes a problem. Remember, sometimes during the Bola Ige regime in Oyo, when this man was clamoring for position, Bola Ige told him that, after all, you're a thug, we have paid you off. That was the beginning of a lot of problem for us in UPN then. These youths of these days, they will want to collect money to vote. And funnily, it's not only in Nigeria, we're only pretending. It's all over the world. Even in US, they will come and give you pamper, spaghettis. They will technically put money inside most of these things. So we should stop pretending as if it's only in Nigeria. All over the world, it's already bastardized that to collect money. And unfortunately, when these children see all this, all they do is they run after the politicians instead of thinking of what they can become in life. So until we start to realize the need for us to be productive and do things that will make us relevant in our society. So It's not just about the money they will give you for that day when you are voting. If your contribution is appreciated, they will start to lift you up. There's nothing wrong in being in politics. There's nothing wrong in partaking in politics. But that should not distract us that we would not work to earn a living. It should be secondary.
Thank you very much. Now let's look at the influence of hard drugs now. Secondary school students, primary and all that. Some even will go as far as beating up their teachers once they have taken drugs. How can this be reduced or minimized?
Well, like I said earlier, when you send your child to go and buy a cigarette and you smoke in his or her presence, you are telling him or her to start smoking. When you take hard drugs and you misbehave or you start to laugh and jump, the child will think it's the best way to be happy. As parents, we should stop taking it ourselves. As parents, any of our child that is introduced to it, either by us or somebody else, we should find a means of educating such a child to drop it. We all should find a means of correcting it. It's quite a shame that you find all this drug being displayed in public places, on the street, by the roadside. Go to every junction. You will see them being well displayed. The police officer will just pass by as long as you pay something to them. Because even when I was growing, you don't display some drugs like codeine. You don't even sell it. You need a license to sell such things. But now go to any chemist, you see them displaying drugs that they are not supposed to display. Until we go back to that system of refusing to introduce these drugs to the youths. And those that are already into it, there's a need for us to just calm them down, educate them, let them know the implications for their own life and for the society. Then it's good for us to reduce the intake ourselves. It's a shame that even after they have written on the packs that is dangerous for your health, it's still bad uptake.
What about the situation where the parents do not even know that their children are into drugs?
There is no way you have a child and he or she is into it.
Not at home most of the time.
My dear,
the campuses.
The moment you see a child that is into drug, you know.
Okay.
Psychologically, his or her attitude is either that he will be very dull when he's not into it, and when you see that your child is getting too dull, you start to suspect. All you need is go to the hospital, have a blood test. Shaking. So there are a number of things that we can do that we have refused to do until we all take responsibility. And not just taking responsibility, but acting it. It's not fair for us to think the child should be able to grow alone. They need us. Our own parents assisted us in our growth.
Now let's look at the influence of broken homes. That seems to be a lot of it these days, you know.
My dear, if there's anything like broken home, I experienced it. My last baby was just a month in me when I started to live alone with my children. The moment you have a broken home, be you a girl, a woman or a man, make sure you are ready to take care of those children without looking around. The moment you know that you need to take care of a child, if I'm a man, I'll marry a wife now, and I'll take care of my children and my wife. So what's the big deal of thinking that, okay, because you don't have a husband and you should not, then the children should fall off? No. I know it's by the grace of God, but as a parent, be you a single parent, you should concentrate on the development of your children. The moment you learn to develop your own children, before you know it, things will go better for you and the children.
It seems that the virtues of our moral behavior and the cultural practices seems to be eroding. In the past, you know, the children have to prostrate if it's a boy, the parents, unlike nowadays. Similar to that is the issue of indecent dressing. Recently, some boys, youths in Edo State, I think, they had to flock to discipline or to fine a lady for indecent dressing.
It happened here in Osun too. Remember during our revolution when you
You're right. So who should be blamed for this and what are the possible solutions?
We blame the social media. Because most of their drama is exposing also nakedness. We should stop all this. Watch Z word. You will see them going naked. Yet they will send the message, they will impart the knowledge they want to impart on the society with the Z word. So what's wrong with us? Why should we go naked? Why should we wear ordinary wear that will expose all your nakedness in the name of playing drama? Then all their chests will be out in the name of being social. It's not. I think it's more of social influence and even the parents. I was at a function some time ago and a whole mother, she's an elderly person, I'll call her auntie. I see the way she dressed, I didn't greet her. I refused to greet her. When she, my sister, I just whispered to her, like I should tell. I know she will not forgive me for it. But I made sure I told her straight, like I should tell. She kept quiet. And she didn't stay long. Because I know several people will not like me, they will not tell her. But she noticed that when I was greeting everybody, I didn't get near her. So she stood up and said, my dear sister, I said, do not tell one thing. So until we all correct ourselves, regardless of the person's attitude, regardless of the friendliness within us, we should be objective and teach ourselves. If we refuse to blame from our parents, teach them outside.
Thank you very much for our time. It's really fast paced. But before we go, what is your words of admonition for the youth?
For the youth, I think they should start to learn that whatever you do, you account for it. No matter how smart you are, no matter how good you are, all you need to do is to please do the right things, say the right things, relate the right way, regardless of your parents' attitude. You know what is good for you. You know what is good for the society, and you know what is good to make you happy. The Lord be with us all.
Okay. Special thanks to you, our guest, for honoring our invitations and for sharing with us your thoughts on how to make the lives of the youth better in the society. Thank you for having you on the program.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
This is the convenient point for us to end this presentation of Let's Discuss on OSBC TV. Until next Sunday when we bring another fresh edition. So live in peace with one another. I am Adibari Ejimakide.
And I'm Oluchi Amuda saying bye-bye.
Bye.